What you want for them? I want the cell phone. First, priority cell phone. Why is it that they have so much of love for the cell phone? Because why? When they wake up in the morning, they see us as parents with the cell phone in our hands. When they're greeting us before they go to bed, then we're also busy with the cell phone in our hands. The whole day we busy with our cell phone and we're smiling at our cell phones all the time. So for them, that is the best gadget, man. It brings about so much of happiness. So that is why they want that cell phone. Little do they realize how destructive that cell phone can be for them. Now imagine if they had to wake up seeing us reciting Qur'an, going to bed seeing us with Qur'an, seeing the love for the child, make him or her understand why you're keeping the phone away from them. So they're productive in class because his mind is elsewhere. He's learning his sabak. Why? Because why? My father will give me my cell phone after I learn my sabak. So his mind is somewhere else. Weekend, the father will say, I want to give you weekends, whole week. Already on Thursday, Daddy, don't forget to charge my cell phone. Huh? Saturday is still coming, but already now he's worried about the cell phone being charged. Don't forget to charge my iPad. Huh? Because already his mind is centered around that gadget. You know what? If he has to get that gadget and the battery is flat, it's like qiyamah for him, man. He needs that. That needs to be sorted out for him. So it's consuming the mind, and to have a clean and clear mind and open mind for hifz is of utmost importance. When the mind is going to be polluted with all this filth, then that mind will never be able to learn Qur'an, that heart will never be able to receive Qur'an. Now remember, we are encountering some very serious addictions in this regard. Many a time, when we used to speak of addictions, everybody's mind used to go to drug abuse, right? Substance abuse. I was once reading an article. We were traveling in the plane. So they mentioned they did a study. So they took few children and they took the gadgets away from these children. And they started to monitor the withdrawal symptoms in these children. They found the withdrawal symptoms, right, in these children who were addicted to technology and all these gadgets was far more worse than all these addictions. We have to pay a lot of attention to it. Wallah, if we don't control it, the worst of the child will come out. One mother came crying to me. Crying. And she says, Mawlānā, you know what? I don't know what to say anymore. My child has no respect for me. So what do you mean? She says, Mawlānā, he was spending extra time in the shower. I knew he was up to no good. And I knew that he must have hook and crook, he must have got a cell phone. So when he came out of the shower, I asked him, where's the cell phone? Right? So he had only a towel around his waist. What he did is he took the cell phone and he tucked it here behind his back. Right? So when his mother asked him, where's the cell phone? He says, no cell phone. Mother said, don't lie to me. I'm sure you were busy with the cell phone. What he did? Na'udhu billah. The mother says, Mawlānā, he opened the towel like this. See, there's nothing. Right? He said, Mawlānā, my own son exposed his private organs to me, and so me see there's nothing. So only when he turned around, I caught him with the cell phone in the back. Right? Now what I'm saying, what would make a child do something like this? Can you understand the seriousness and the gravity of the situation? The child knows, I can't go to the masjid without being in a park state. But imagine he comes and he's sitting in front of the Qur'an, he's learning Qur'an also, but he's in a napak state. These are serious things that we are encountering. So please, for Allah's sake, right, keep your children safe from all these addictions. Be'adabi, disrespect, is one of the greatest causes of deprivation. Right? What we learned when we were small, Ba'adab ba-nasib, be'adab be-nasib. Our old ustads always taught us this. We used to say it and rhyme it. Ba'adab, the person who has adab and etiquette, ba-nasib, meaning that person will benefit greatly. And be'adab, a person doesn't have etiquette, be-nasib, they will lose out totally. So this is every ustad's major problem, biggest problem, social media addiction. So let us see how we as parents, we can assist in this regard. See, many a time, you sort him out. It's not Mawlāna's problem to sort him out. It's not Mawlāna's job to sort him out. But as a parent, why? You can't give him the phone and say, Mawlānā, sort it out. Mawlānā, take the phone away. Mawlānā, break the phone. For what you gave him the phone in the first place? So you give him the weapon of destruction and then you expect Mawlānā to curb it. How does that work? So even to all my young boys sitting here, wallah, when we tell you that stay away from the cell phone is for your own good. Right? What benefit is there going to be for us by us telling you to stay away from it? wallah, the benefit is yours. The further you can keep yourself away from it, the better it is. The next important thing is music, sin. Qur'an will never truly enter the heart which has hypocrisy. And al-ghina'u yumbitu an-nifaqa fil qalbi kama yumbitu al-ma'u zar'. Right? That music causes hypocrisy to grow in the heart, just as water causes the crops and the plants to grow. Now when that heart is filled with darkness and hypocrisy, how do you expect the pure kalam of Allah to enter that heart? The one ustad was speaking to the children and spoke to them about music. He says, Alhamdulillah, Mawlānā, these children were brought to tears. The one child came to me and said, Mawlānā, can I give you my memory stick? He said, there's gigs of music. There's gigs of music, and this is the reason why I'm unable to learn Qur'an. Gigs of music, the one was caught with a memory stick, and on there was all this TV series, How many different series they're watching. Their minds are fully centered around it. They can't concentrate. They can't think of anything else. So he says, Mawlānā, please help me by taking this away. Help me by taking it away from me. So, refrain from sin, as sin weakens the memory and it leads to deprivation. Engage in abundance of istighfar. We all make mistakes. Sometimes unintentionally we hear those things that we're not supposed to be hearing. So make a lot of tawbah and istighfar. So the barakat of tawbah and istighfar, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will inshallah open the way for us. The next thing is very important, which is stay away from anything that is doubtful. Now, we're not talking of haram. We're talking of doubtful, right? Anything that is doubtful. So for parents also, you need to ensure your income is pure if you want your child to become a hafiz of Qur'an. You can't feed your child haram or feed him that which is doubtful, from doubtful earnings, and expect him to memorize the kalam of Allah. It's not going to happen. So your earnings will have to be pure. Food will have to be pure. Some people give importance to halal food, but they're using doubtful earnings to buy that halal food. Remember, if haram earnings or doubtful earnings are used, then even if halal food is purchased, that food is going to be tainted with a haram earning. So earnings will have to be halal, and the food will also have to be halal. That is why be careful. Don't just eat anywhere and everywhere. Today we say, no, there's a sign, man. Although it may be like a Bombay sign or fake sign, it's fine, man. The owner's on them. No, we have to be serious. What are we putting in our bellies? Right? You'll find there are many huffaz. Right? You'll ask them what was the secret in them becoming hafiz of Quran. They'll tell you that for the duration of my hifz, I never ate out food. I never ate from my takeaway. Some of them will tell you. Right? There was one hafiz who was battling, but he doesn't have a good memory. But Allah shukr, he's now coming close to completion. And if you ask him, his parents will say, Alhamdulillah, since he started, he took it upon himself that he will not eat out food. He says to his mother, I will only eat your barakat food which you're reciting with Bismillah and you're preparing for me. Because that will help me and make it easy for me to memorize the kalam of Allah. So this is important. What are we giving our child to eat? What are we feeding them? The mother's effort, her dhikr, her fikr, her dua, when she cooks that food for those children, that is of utmost importance. That's going to help the child memorize the Quran. Otherwise the child comes from Madrasah. What should I eat this afternoon? My mother picked up a burger for me from Yankees. Yankees. Other children all start screaming out, but Appa, isn't it is haram? No, Appa says, Ya Allah, now how do I sort this situation out? It's a catch-22 situation. So that is why we have to be very careful. Right? Even on a Friday night, right? I fully understand the ladies sometimes they feel we need a break in the home, but a break not at the expense of your child suffering when it comes to memorizing the Quran. So be very careful what the child is being fed, what food is going down. Don't unnecessarily indulge, justify, trivialize, or anything that is wrong. There is a great link between haram and evil deeds. And again, there's also a great link between eating that which is pure and doing righteous deeds. Qur'an Allah mentions, Kulu minat tayyibat wa'amalu saliha. Eat from that which is pure and do righteous deeds. Ulama mention, when halal and pure food is consumed, then the jazba and the desire to do righteous deeds will be created within the individual. But when a child is haram or doubtful, then forget acts of obedience, then acts of disobedience will come from that child. Then the disobedience of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will brew up in that child. So once again, if you have to ask the Hifz Ustaz, right, they'll tell you, tiredness is a big problem that we are encountering in the class. So the child comes in the morning, but he can hardly keep his eyes open, right? He can hardly keep his eyes open. What happened? I touched on this point, the parents oversleeping and negligence in this regard. We should be more cautious, right? Missing morning class. Now, tiredness, especially in the afternoon due to school. This is something we're experiencing. You know, when we were young, Allah shukr, we had barakat in our days. We were able to achieve so much. I was speaking to somebody. I said in half an hour we could walk from school home. We could go to the bathroom, relieve ourselves, make wudu, read our dhuhr salah. In half an hour, all this could be done. Say today you try and tell a child, they tell you half an hour, it just takes him to eat. Right? So, barakat is gone from our time. Now what we are finding is there are many children who come to class in the afternoon, sometimes in the morning because of social media addiction, cell phone addiction, they're falling asleep in class because they hardly slept at night. They slept too late. Then you'll find those that are coming in the afternoon, right? They had a long day, they started very early. Now when they come in the afternoon, they're falling asleep in the class. So what we're saying is we need to now start thinking out of the box and look for alternatives as far as schooling is concerned. If your child has a very long schooling day and the latter part of the day is going to be used for hifz, this is not ideal. Because by then the child is tired. The memory is also shut. How you expect the child to learn? So you got to look at alternative methods where my child can spend less time with schooling, right? And alhamdulillah, today there's so many different options that we have. The child can spend less time with schooling, and prime time can then be allocated for my child to memorize the kalam of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Now every child is unique, right? Every child is unique. And for the ustad to get the best out of every child, strictness is important. So when the ustad is strict, don't feel that, hey, this appa is now, being difficult, unnecessary, or this appa is being rude to my child or unaccommodating. No. Strictness will bring great amounts of discipline. Parents need to be understanding and accommodating with regards to the madrasa system or the method used in the class. Right? The ustad is teaching, he knows better. So give him your support and help him to help your child. Now, where many of us are, right? We're very quick to say favoritism, right? Why Mawlānā allowed him to do sabak and Mawlānā stopped my child's door? Why? There's favoritism here in the class. Because his father is more wealthy or his father gives Mawlānā a lift, so now Mawlānā is being lenient towards him. No. Don't listen to the children and listen to the complaints they're coming at home. Be careful. Don't let your child play you against the ustad. If something comes in your heart against the ustad, your child will be the first to suffer. If you want your child to benefit from the ustad, you need to give the ustad your full support. Right? Now remember on this, there's a whole bayan, but I think I'm running short of time now, but we also now coming to the end. See, every child is unique. And the ustad's strategy for every child will be different. So therefore, don't compare. This results in unnecessary pressure on the kids, and it creates a big problem. What we say, there's always different strokes for different folks. Is that? Everybody's memory is different. For some children, if you don't be strict with them, they won't learn. Others, if you be strict on them, they won't learn. Because why? You'll break them. Every child is unique. So for example, there was one Mawlānā who told me, he says, Allah reward my ustad. He said, my ustad started teaching us, and then he had to go overseas. I think it was for Hajj. So somebody else came. When somebody else came, we all ran away from the class. We all left. My ustad came back. He said, when my ustad came back, he came to our homes and he brought us all back. He said, by nature, I'm a very soft person. I get very excited and very anxious. Right? So you see, one day, The Hufaz will know, 14-second half. 14-second half, I made maybe 22 mistakes. In my hearts of hearts, I was already finished. I thought, here's it, Qiyamah. Right? He said, Qiyamah. He said, when I completed my Ustad, closed the Quran, smiled at me and he gave me my Quran. He never said a word to me. Afterwards, the Ustad called one of the other boys in the class. He said, come here. He said, just go tell him quietly. If he feels that half a para wasn't good today, then he can repeat it tomorrow. He says, Alhamdulillah, the next day I repeated the second half without a single mistake. He said, this was a gentleness with which my Ustad taught me, taking my makeup into consideration. Now there are other children, if you use the same approach to them, they won't learn at all. Right? They need a certain level of strictness. So therefore the Ustad will have to have different methods for the different children. You as a Ustad, you as a parent, you can't say, but why my child came home. Yeah, but mommy, you know, that boy made the same mistake. Mara never told him anything. I made the mistake, I got into trouble. Right? Mara knows if he doesn't caution you, you will never fix up that mistake. That boy, Mara just looked at him with big eyes, was already enough for him. Mara didn't have to even say anything further. Right? Nabi Kareem Sallallahu also, in his time, for example, a person came to ask Nabi Sallallahu, an elderly person, oh Nabi of Allah, can I kiss my wife when I'm fasting? Nabi Sallallahu said, for you, no problem. He's an elderly person. The most he can do is kiss his wife. Right? So there's no khatra, there's no danger as far as his fast is concerned. Well, a young guy came and he said, oh Nabi, can I kiss my wife? Nabi Sallallahu, for you, no. Because Nabi Sallallahu knew the elderly person will know where his limit is. The young person, right, he won't have limits. One thing will lead to another, and then tomorrow he'll have to end up giving kafara. Right? So Nabi Sallallahu knew exactly. Nobody can say, astaghfirullah, no, Nabi Sallallahu was unfair. He said for one, it's okay for you, and for others, well, he said no. Abdullah ibn Maktoum radiallahu anhu was a great sahabi. He was a senior sahabi. He had very bad eyesight. When he asked Nabi Sallallahu, can I perform my salah at home? Nabi Sallallahu told him, no. You must come to Nabi Sallallahu telling him you need to come to the masjid is because when Nabi Sallallahu left Medina, then Nabi Sallallahu made him in charge and made him responsible. So he needed to know what was happening in the masjid to be able to lead. The Ustad will see, this child got great potential, but he's not utilizing his potential to maximum. So the Ustad will, I will say, drag him and push him. It's not because the Ustad hates him or dislikes him, but it's because the Ustad wants the best for him. Right? On the other hand, another child, if the Ustad just has to push him a little bit, he'll run away from the class. So the Ustad has to be a bit gentle towards him. So please, trust the Ustad. Don't ever compare your children in the class and think, but Jumana does. No, the children are different. They will be treated different. An intelligent Ustad will treat every child as per the makeup of the child. You need to support the Ustad wholeheartedly. If the child comes home and comes with all his gripes, tell him, hey, listen here, your problems in the class, you saw it against the Ustad, then your child will be deprived. Allah Ta'ala protect us all. The other big problem we have is that of hayat. Our children are becoming hafiz of Qur'an. In Madrasah, mashallah, they dress so beautifully. Out of Madrasah, right, people won't even know whether it's a Muslim walking on the street or a non-Muslim walking on the street. Right? So importance of dressing modestly when going out as we people of Qur'an and examples to others. You see your Qur'an, you cover it with a beautiful cover, isn't it? You'll cover it with newspaper. You won't cover your Qur'an with newspaper, isn't it? You'll cover it with a beautiful cover, isn't it? Now when Allah has selected your heart to contain the Qur'an, then the cover for that heart also has to look beautiful. So beautify yourself with the sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Be an example wherever you go. Wherever you go, people must say, see the child and look at his character, look at his appearance. I want my child to become like him. Otherwise, Allah protects. Our own children will become a means of others not becoming hafiz of Qur'an. They say, look at the hafiz boys. What a bad example they are. My child would rather not become hafiz. We don't want that to happen. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala protect us all. May Allah ta'ala grant us all understanding. I think we got a Q&A session here. So again, regarding dyslexic children, how to teach them, right? So remember, again, a child with special needs, he cannot be treated like every other child in the class. The Ustad will have to now look, ADHD also, for example, right? The child can't concentrate. So now the Ustad will have to now try and error, see what works for the child, right? What works. And the Ustad will try this method, that method, try this way, that way. And eventually, if he's serious and he makes dua and he's got the support of the parent, Allah will open their hearts to finding the right method, right? So it will be trial and error. Sometimes you can't put too much pressure on the child. Sometimes you need to have shorter sessions for the child because they can't concentrate. After every half an hour, send them on some errand just to cool off their minds, keep them, and then come back. So these are important points, right? It'll be trial and error to find what works for your child in the beginning. But once you find what works for your child, then inshallah your child will be on his way or her way. May Allah Ta'ala grant us all acceptance. May Allah Ta'ala I didn't come to scare you tonight. I just came to mention to you what is happening on the ground so you can be mentally prepared for it. You can take the necessary precautions wherever required, and you can give all the assistance that is required to ensure that your child becomes a good hafiz or hafiz of Qur'an. May Allah Ta'ala grant us understanding. One is saying we must do a dhikr for about 10 minutes, so inshallah we'll end of the program with a little bit of dhikr, inshallah. So inshallah we'll make the dhikr of La ilaha illallah. When we're saying La ilaha, there is no deity illallah except Allah. Meaning everything other than Allah, we need to take it out of our hearts. La ilaha, everything that my heart is attached to other than Allah has to come out. Illallah, only the qudrat, the greatness and the love of one Allah needs to enter this heart of mine. So that should be in our mind as we sing La ilaha illallah. Take everything else other than Allah out. Illallah, only Allah. And then in between also, we'll make the short dua, Allahumma inni as'aluka hubbak. Oh Allah, I ask you for your love. Right? So we take in the name of Allah, and in between we'll ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with His love. And then inshallah we'll make a little bit dhikr of Allah, the beautiful name of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala.
فاعلم أنه لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم اللهم إني أسألك حبك لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم اللهم إني أسألك حبك لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وسلم اللهم إني أسألك حبك لا إله إلا الله 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 إلا الله لا إله 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 إلا الله سيدنا ونبينا وشفيعنا وسندنا ومولانا محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا اللهم إني أسألك حبك الله جل جلاله عم نواله الله 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 جل جلاله عم نواله لا إله إلا الله سيدنا ونبينا وشفيعنا وسندنا ومولانا محمد رسول الله صلى الله تعالى عليه وعلى آله وأصحابه وبارك وسلم تسليما كثيرا كثيرا اللهم إني أسألك حبك. الحمد لله الذي هدانا لهذا وما كنا لنهتدي لولا أن هدانا الله. اللهم لك الحمد كله ولك الشكر كله. اللهم لا نحصي ثناء عليك أنك ما أثنيت على نفسك. اللهم اجز عنا نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم بما هو أهله. يا رب صل وسلم دائما أبدا على حبيبك خير الخلق كلهم. اللهم أحسن عاقبتنا في الأمور كلها واجرنا من خزي الدنيا وعذاب القبر وعذاب الآخرة. ربنا آتنا في الدنيا حسنة وفي الآخرة حسنة وقنا عذاب النار. يا أول الأولين ويا آخر الآخرين ويا ذا القوة المتين ويا راحم المساكين ويا أرحم الراحمين ظلمنا أنفسنا وإن لم تغفر لنا وترحمنا لنكونن من الخاسرين. Ya Allah, Ya most merciful Allah, Ya Allah, Ya most beloved Allah. Ya Allah, on this Mubarak night of Jumu'ah, Ya Allah, shower your special mercies upon us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, forgive each and every one of us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, forgive each and every son of ours, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are drowning in sin, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, forgive all of us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we have no other being to turn to, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, look at us with the eyes of mercy, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, shower your special mercies upon us, your barakat, your blessings upon us, Ya Allah. Grant us your special protection, Ya Allah. Grant us afiyah, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, grant us all afiyah, Ya Allah. Protect us from sin, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, keep us away from sin, Ya Allah. Keep sin away from us, Ya Allah. Instill within our hearts a hatred for sin, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, so many people have come tonight, Ya Allah, with this worry and this concern that I can learn, I can benefit, and my child can become a hafiz of Qur'an, hafiz of Qur'an. Ya Allah, fulfill this tamanna and desire of each and every parent seated here today. Each and every parent that was listening to this program, Ya Allah, wherever they may be, Ya Allah, accept it from them, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, accept their tamanna, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, accept their children to become good, solid hufad of the Qur'an, Ya Allah. Practicing hufad of the Qur'an, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, all the students that are seated here today, Ya Allah, remove all the difficulties, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, open their hearts to receive the Qur'an, Ya Allah. Make it easy for them to memorize the Qur'an, Ya Allah.
Ya Allah, make it easy for all of us to recite the Qur'an in a manner, Ya Allah, that is pleasing to you, Ya Allah. Grant us the tawfiq and the ability to recite the Qur'an in the hours of the night, in the hours of the day, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, be pleased with all of us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, save us, Ya Allah, from haram, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, save us, Ya Allah, from the evil of ourselves, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, save us from all harm, Ya Allah, especially in the form of social media, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are losing it, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we don't have control, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, we are addicts, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, protect us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, safeguard us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, guide us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, guide us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, guide us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, place your true love in our hearts, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, take the love for son out, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, replace that son, Ya Allah, that haram lust, Ya Allah, with your pure love, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, Ya Allah, grant us comfort in your tilawat of Qur'an, Ya Allah. In your dhikr, Ya Allah. Grant us a heart, Ya Allah, that is turning towards you, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, be happy with us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, be happy with us, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us more on Iman, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, take us away from this world with Iman, Ya Allah. Grant us husnul khatima, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, through the barakat of the masoom children that are seated in this gathering, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us acceptance, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, grant us a tawfiq to make amal and practice upon all that which was said, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, if anything wrong was said, Ya Allah, remove it from our hearts, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, everything that is beneficial for us, Ya Allah, make it easy for us to make amal and practice upon it, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, make this program, Ya Allah, a means of Qur'an coming alive, Ya Allah. Not only in this town, Ya Allah,